Welcome to Dig on America, where we speak truth to power.
As I know you're enjoying this extra room we got here. Ooh, to stretch out.
Yeah.
It's nice.
You know,
it's not
I can
so
reach
cramped.
up like this and
Ooh, buddy.
not hit anybody pasty.
I heard no like borderline, oh, are we about to lose the channel jokes like the whole time? It's nice. It's been a good thing. Good thing for us. Unfortunately, coming in live from somewhere.
What's up, guys? It's Jason Dutch. I am here.
Oh, you know what? I just realized I could pause them whenever I want.
Yes.
But I'm not. So what's going on? Am I here or am I not? It's a mystery. Freaking mystery needing to be solved. Real quick, this dig is a tough one, but on this, also it's going to tie in a little bit to Haas's sort of funny news story. It's just a striking resemblance. That his story is fun. This one not fun, but you will see what I'm talking about. So with that being said, let's rock and roll and get right into today's dig on Vincent Chin. So my 8th grade social studies teacher, Mr. Humble, taught me things that turns out after doing my own research, which Maga was yelling at me on Twitter yesterday, wasn't exactly the whole story. And this week, we will dive into the largely unknown story of the murder of a man named Vincent Chin. So Vincent Chin was born in China's Guangdong province and grew up in Detroit with his adoptive parents. By the summer of 1982, he was 27 years old and working in computer graphics. And his hometown, once known as an automotive manufacturing capital, Detroit, was in decline. Many U.S. auto workers, the Lions are still in decline, but anyway, many U.S. auto workers blame this decline on Japanese car manufacturers. On the evening of June 19th, 1982, I was about 8, with his wedding only days away, Chin went with friends to a strip club in Detroit to celebrate his bachelor party. On the night Chin went out with his friends, 43-year-old Chrysler foreman Ronald Ebens and his 22-year-old stepson Michael Nitz, I believe it's Nitz, N-I-T-Z, who just lost his job at Chrysler, were also at the club. According to testimony, a dispute started between the groups of men over a stripper. She must have been just awesome. A dancer at the club
over hoes, man.
Ebens, shouting at Chin, "It's because of you motherfuckers that we're out of work," mistaking Chin as Japanese. Now, side note, hint, not because of them, but because of some union issues that they had, but also Japan had universal health care, so they could sell the cars cheaper where we didn't. So, shh, don't tell anyone. Now, accounts differ. Again, they mistook Chin as a Japanese gentleman. Accounts differ, but it is alleged that Nitz used racial slurs and that Chin may have pushed or punched him in retaliation of that. Ultimately, the fight escalated, apparently with Chin and his friends winning. So after some time, another altercation began between Nitz and Chin outside. So Ebens, seeing this escalating again, decided to take measures into his own hands, grabbed a baseball bat from his car, and began chasing Chin, who ran away. Now, this is probably where it should have ended. However, Ebens and Nitz then drove around for 20 to 30 minutes looking for Chin, going so far as to find some dude on the streets and give him $20 to help look for Chin. How the hell did they describe him to this guy?
Damn Asian. One of them doggone Japanese. Probably.
He's probably one of the 5 Asian people in Detroit at that time of night. Like, he'd be pretty easy to spot.
That's just amazing. But when they finally found Chin at McDonald's, Nitz held him down while Ebens beat him with that baseball bat.
Pause.
An officer who witnessed the beating said Ebens looked.
God damn.
Yeah.
I never heard about this story. That's okay. So these guys are under the jail, though. That's how this ends, I bet, right?
We listen on.
Like he was swinging for a home run as he cracked open Chin's skull. Chin died in the hospital 4 days later. Now, the murder didn't make the national news that summer. Speculatively, since there was a pretty mainstream sentiment at the time that a man in a fight at a strip club may have been deserving some way of such a crime. We never see that anymore. But regardless, the killing deeply affected Chinese Americans and other Asians in Detroit. And according to Curtis Chin, no relation, producer of a 2009 documentary called Vincent Who, Curtis Chin was 12 at the time of Vincent Chin's murder, and he describes Vincent Chin as a family friend, and some of Curtis Chin's family was going to be in Vincent Chin's upcoming wedding party. So this is Curtis Chin's quote. "It only became a big story after the judgment," he says, referring to Ebens and Nitz's trial several months later. It was a local story before that. And obviously, within the Asian community, it was already a big story. People were very concerned about it, very scared. If it could happen to Vince, it could happen to anyone of Asian descent. So on March 16th, 1983, and this is where shit falls in line with what Haas is going to talk about, or did talk about, Wayne County, Michigan Circuit Judge Charles Kaufman ruled that the murder was the outcome of no more than a barroom brawl and found Ebens and Nitz guilty of manslaughter. They had originally been charged with second-degree murder. They each received a $3,000 fine, court costs, and 3 years probation. Neither received any prison time. And this is the part that's going to really ruffle feathers.
Do you have an updated guess?
These motherfuckers drove around for 30 minutes.
Yes.
Looking for someone.
Yes.
Found him.
Yes.
Someone held him down.
Correct.
While the other person relieved him of his brain tissue with a bat. A police officer witnessed it.
Correct.
And then the judge said that this was just the outcome of a barroom brawl that ended up 30 minutes later at a McDonald's.
I don't know how you have a barroom brawl at a McDonald's.
It's called complexion for the protection. It's called white privilege.
These aren't the kind of men you send to jail.
Oh my God.
We're talking here about a man who's held down a responsible job for 17 or 18 years. His son is employed and he's a part-time student. You don't make the punishment fit the crime. You make the punishment fit the criminal. Qin Yi, president of the Detroit Chinese Welfare Council, argued that the sentences amounted to a license to kill for $3,000, provided you have a steady job or are a student and the victim is Chinese. Unlike Chin's murder, Ebens and Nitz's sentences did make the national news, sparking protests across the country. Although there were some instances of Asian American activism before this, Chin's murder marked a turning point for Chinese Americans, Japanese Americans, and other communities who hadn't previously thought of themselves as Asian Americans with common interest, noting that a man was killed because his murderers thought he looked the part. Not only that, his murderers got off on probation. 2 weeks after Ebens and Nitz's sentencing, activists in Detroit formed a pan-Asian American civil rights organization called American Citizens for Justice. And they petitioned the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the murder as a civil rights violation, which it did. 2 years later, Ebens was found to have violated Vincent Chin's civil rights and was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Good, right? Well, there's more. However, Ebens appealed and was cleared, of course, of all charges in 1987. Also in 1987, however, Nitz and Ebens both settled a civil suit in which Nitz, the younger, was ordered to pay $50,000 to the Chin estate, which he did, and Ebens was ordered to pay $1.5 million, which he didn't. It grew to an estimate of over $8 million as it went unpaid and accumulated interest to today. So there is today's dig. Later, Gator.
So you remember Latasha Harlins?
No.
She was killed in a corner store by a Korean lady because the lady thought she was going to steal a bottle of juice. She was going to buy the bottle of juice. The store owner accused her of getting ready to steal it.
Mm-hmm.
She puts the juice on the desk or whatever, the counter, and is walking away. Like, I'm not gonna buy your fucking juice then.
Right.
And the lady shoots her in the back of the head, and she dies.
She was 15.
And she got probation as well.
Like, I don't even understand how it just sounds so foreign.
Right.
Because maybe it's just because of the culture that we've grown up in.
It doesn't sound foreign to me. I mean, I've seen it time and again.
I don't know. Like, I guess it's at some point you have to stop being surprised.
Yeah, you
should almost expect it to go a certain way.
Many people in the Black community, especially, and I can only speak to that because that is where I'm from. I can't speak to the LGBT community and what they might feel when things like this happen. But I know that many in the Black community become numb. They're not surprised at all when cops get off, or people like Zimmerman get off, or people get probation and things like that. I'm going to read what Dutch sent me to read.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. Okay. And it says, an Indiana woman is pleading for a lighter conviction after playing a part as being one of the earliest Trump supporters to enter the Capitol on January 6th. The reason for her pleas are as follows. According to her attorney, and I quote, simply put, if Miss Bissi is incarcerated at the DC jail or the BOP, which has seen 259 inmate deaths and over 43,000 infections from COVID-19, she is extremely likely to suffer severe illness or even death. According to the CDC, if she were to get sick with the virus, she may require hospitalization, intensive care, a ventilator to help her breathe, or she may die. Certainly, Ms. Bissi has not helped her chances of fighting the virus by remaining unvaccinated. But she also does not deserve to die for her behavior. The court should take her unique vulnerability, liver issues, into consideration. She has remained unvaccinated, she claims, because her doctor in Indiana has not yet advised her to be vaccinated. But wait, there's still more. The attorney continues. Excuse me. I like to do that in honor of my guy. Miss Bissi deserves community service as a sentence because she has suffered collateral consequences, such as being shunned in the streets. Shame. And had to close her business, a hair salon, where you could get the Karen for a discount, due to a drop in clients and that the pandemic has made rental unaffordable. She also wrote the judge a handwritten letter apologizing for her role in the insurrection. and stating
Oh.
that she is a good person, a
Yeah.
grandmother, a God-fearing patriot, and a hard worker.
Yeah, she worked real hard.
My intention was to support President Trump, not to cause trouble. Don't worry, there's still more.
Oh,
In a Facebook post the day after the events of January 6th, Bissi posted to Facebook a photo of herself with the caption, "I'm inside the Capitol building, LOL."
stop.
Another post moments later said, "I was one of the first 100 or so to enter. Still picking glass out of my purse. I'll never forget today. We are in the People's Capitol building. Best fucking day ever."
Oh,
Followed by 3 smiley faces.
I'm glad she was smiling.
Yeah. And then that ties into a story I read today about a federal judge that is taking insurrection cases in his court, and where they're found guilty, he's given more time than the prosecutors are asking. He's saying a message must be sent. And I love this dude. He's my new favorite guy.
All right.
But
While you're doing that, I gotta dig him up.
you see here how the crimes of non-melanated people are always minimized, and they're always defended by, but I'm a good person and I'm a God-fearing Christian and this or that. Whereas the crimes of the global majority, melanated people, are always seen as a example of their incorrigibility, and an example must be made, and they deserve to, as I've seen in many posts, fry them.
Yep.
I've seen in many posts when the accused is a melanated person, that the public wants the harshest penalties levied. But when the crimes are committed by, or accused to have been committed by, or alleged to be committed by non-melanated people, then it is minimized to the best of their ability. Like the guy who killed his wife and kids, and in every news story, they kept showing pictures, the family pictures of them all smiling,
Right.
him and his wife and kids that he killed, and not his mugshot, or not the worst possible picture they could find of him.
Right.
Do you see what we talk about when we talk about dichotomy, what we talk about when we talk about systemic issues? Vincent Chin lost his life, was beaten to death 30 minutes after the barroom brawl.
Like,
and the
everybody
judge
walked away. Everybody talked their shit. They threw a couple.
He ran
punches,
away. He's no longer a threat.
Everybody said, "Fuck it." You know what?
Yes.
Y'all killed the whole fucking vibe anyway.
Right.
I'm drunk as shit. Come on,
Fuck
man.
Cinnamon anyway. Fuck
Cinnamon
Cinnamon anyway. Her titty's fake. You know what I mean?
Cinnamon and all that. Let's go get
Whatever.
a Big Mac and a fucking
Right.
milkshake. I'm out of here.
And what does the judge say? The judge goes out of his way to glorify a person who beats someone to death with a baseball bat, and goes out of his way to glorify a person who held down someone as he was being beaten to death with a baseball bat. But there's no systemic bias. There's no systemic racism. You melanated folks are being hypersensitive. You're looking for racism. If there was racism, then why do we have black aldermen and black mayors and a black president and LeBron James, wide nose self, breathing up all the white man's air?
LeBron James.
Right. Why do we have these people? As if the success of the few somehow erases the oppression of the aggregate on a systemic basis.
So Muddy J popped in the chat. McLaughlin, there you go. McLaughlin, can y'all touch on that? And
I'm not familiar with McLaughlin.
You'll remember as soon as I start reading it up. So this is from the Wikipedia for it, if you guys want to look it up. And it says the shooting of Marquise Glockton. It says a 20-year 28-year-old man at a parking lot in Clearwater, Florida, on July 19, 2018, was widely reported by news media as another instance of Florida's controversial stand your ground law 6 years after the shooting death of Trayvon Martin generated international attention and debate. McLaughlin was shot by douchebag McGillicuddy fuckface, whose name will never be read on our fucking air. No way, buddy. Outside a local convenience store. Shortly before the shooting,
I remember.
Douchebag approached McLaughlin's car and began to verbally confront and point at McLaughlin's girlfriend, Brittany, for parking in a disabled parking space without a placard. McLaughlin came out of the store and shoved Douchebag hard to the ground. At this point, Douchebag drew his gun and McLaughlin began to back away. 2.5 seconds after Douchebag hit the ground, he shot McLaughlin. McLaughlin later died from his injuries at the local hospital. McLaughlin was unarmed at the time he was shot.
Mm-hmm.
Now
he's a big old black dude, so his skin and his size made him a lethal threat.
He's fucking Jason Bourne. So it says here, Douchebag, a 47-year-old man, was not initially charged for the killing by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, which Sheriff Bob, Jesus fucking Christ, Gualtieri, citing Florida's stand your ground law as the reason. This is what set everybody off, is because someone shoved you because you're a weirdo screaming at his
attacking my
girlfriend.
baby. You're attacking my girl.
I can't. So he walked up, pushed him off, and like, yo, what the fuck is going on over here?
Right.
And then homie says, well, now you've touched me, so now I can kill you.
Also, this dude had a history of accosting people in parking lots. So it's almost like he had a recent history of doing that.
He's got an issue.
It seemed upon reading, several store employees' statements saying that this dude had a history of complaining and accosting people in parking lots.
Mm-hmm.
I almost felt like he was looking for a reason to be able to use his weapon. Because if you got a gun, some people, they don't become more responsible when they have a gun. They want a reason to use it.
So this goes on. I got a couple more sentences here. It says,
sure.
The investigation was then handed over to the 6th Judicial Circuit Court of Florida State Attorney Bernie McCabe, who charged Douchebag with 1 count of manslaughter on August 13, 2018. Douchebag pleaded not guilty to the charge. His trial began on August 19, 2019. And Douchebag was convicted of manslaughter on August 23, 2019, and was sentenced to imprisonment for 20 years in October of 19.
A measure of justice.
So it was doled out, and that he did get his comeuppance, because I get stand your ground in theory.
In theory, in your home when somebody comes into your crib.
Correct. But then at the same time, Haas, you know this better than most people, what the laws are about firing off rounds inside your home. Mm-hmm. If it can't just be, I don't know who it is I can shoot. Yeah. Like there's a whole list of shit that has to happen in a very specific order, or else you're getting charges on top of that.
Yeah.
Unless there's stand your ground laws, apparently, and then you can just fucking do whatever the fuck you want. Whenever you feel scared, just kill somebody. And then you're in the clear. But
go ahead.
But these cases only come up when it is usually a non-melanated person shooting and killing a melanated person.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's stand your ground. I don't hear about all the stand your ground cases when it comes to white on white crime.
And I'm gonna give you a homework assignment. I'm gonna give our audience a homework assignment, and it's something that they can easily put in chat. Google up the number of times the stand your ground defense has been successful for melanated people versus non-melanated people. In states where they're stand your ground, there's a distinct difference in the success rate of the use of that defense between melanated and non-melanated peoples. So anybody could get that percentage, please put it in chat.
One more quick thing I want to point out, and this is how you know motherfuckers are not wrapped so tight. I see his mugshot and his eyes are obviously too close together. But also
no symmetry there.
It says while Jacobs was sitting inside the vehicle, which is the girlfriend, douchebag pulled up in his Toyota 4Runner, also parking illegally. like I get that you're mad at somebody for taking a handicap spot. Your recourse cannot be, I will just park catty corner crazy crooked.
Probably wanted to block her in or some shit.
He was off to the side, but he was like in the middle of the lot, like not even in a spot.
Because for some people,
so
if they see something that they perceive as wrong, whatever they do, no matter how illegal or how wrong, is okay because they're going to be Mr. Justice.
My name is Captain America, and that person does not have a placard.
So I'm going to go over there and yell at them. I'm going to walk over able-bodiedly and yell at them. Now if he rolled over there, like, hey, I need this spot. You don't have a placard. Are you handicapped? Are you disabled? Are you challenged?
I'm trying to get into the store. You're in the only parking spot for handicap cars. Do you really need it? Are y'all just waiting? Do you mind if I park here?
Yeah. Can you back up, please?
I will.
So that I can park here.
I will.
I had to go through the trouble of doing all of this to get into the store because you're parked here. This is why I am one of the reasons why this space is here. In the future, can you please keep that in mind? Before I know that somebody's probably just running in to get something, but this is why. That's how you handle that situation with honey and not vinegar. You know what I mean?
Or like an adult, you don't know me, so don't speak to me. Like, don't talk down to me. Don't come yelling and screaming like I owe you something.
Now, what if she had gotten scared? What if she had gotten scared
and blew his whole nose
running up, and then she comes up like black.
Oh, well, then
what? Is that stand your ground? Would that work?
No, of course it wouldn't. Because why didn't she just listen to what he had to say? And why was she parked there in the first place? Maybe there was marijuana in her system. Perhaps she had parking tickets. Like those, they always like to.
She was in juvenile detention when she was 12, so that she's incorrigible. You know what I mean? We need to do the humidor.
Okay. He said, Muddy J, thanks again. Says not justice, but better. And that's from a white vet. And he says again, like not even blocking her. He wasn't near her.
So he walked a ways to come over and give her a piece of his privileged mind.